School is back in session, and so is the fall sports season, and that, of course, means football. Welcome to Sportswire. I'm Will Catterley. And with a new year, that means plenty of new faces, both players and coaches. New classifications. We have 3 teams moving up to Class 6 from Class 5, and new schedules. The Henrico Warriors will stay in Class 4 this year and don't play their first regular season game until August 31st against Hermitage. That gives new head coach Deshaun Holmes an extra week to prepare the green and gold for a campaign that he hopes will start the climb up to when Henrico was a dangerous team to play every game. Deshaun Holmes is the new head coach for Henrico football.
Let's go, on the hop, let's go.
Ball on the 20, take the field with some urgency.
Let's go, execute, tempo.
For me, it's still surreal. You know, me being a head coach for the first time at the helms at Henrico High School, being mentored by Coach Glasgow and then, the staff, Coach Vance and Coach Mason, the assistant head coaches and things of that nature. Being a head coach now, there's a lot of things that come with the responsibility. But I'm excited for the season. These guys have been putting in a lot of work, and we're just ready for the kickoff.
When the Warriors do kick off, quarterback Lavelle Winston will operate a wide-open aerial attack.
Quarterback 1 is Lavelle Winston, call him Kool-Aid. He's coming up from his JV year to his junior year, sophomore year from JV coming to his junior year, learning the offense. And like I said, this is year 2 for him, so we see the actual adding the tiers to the layer of the cake, and we actually see him getting a lot better.
Coach Jones would like to get Henrico back to when the green and gold was a powerhouse.
During the offseason, during the spring, we've been showing our guys a lot of 90s Henrico football tape. Me being a Highland Springs guy, for me, coming over here sometimes was kind of fearful at times. So we're kind of trying to show these guys what the 90s Henrico was all about, show the crowd, show the players, the crowd atmosphere and what it was like to be a Henrico Warrior and a Henrico football player. So we're just showing them, the Henrico guys, the guys who played for us, who played before us, who wore the green and gold, and showing them the meaning behind the green and gold aspect of Henrico football.
In 2023, the Warriors are young, but not without experience.
We got about 5 or 6 guys returning on the offensive side, about 5 on the defensive side. We're still kind of young, but I think overall from the past couple of seasons, we kind of played a lot of young guys. They have a lot of varsity experience now moving forward to their junior and senior year.
The Warriors have installed a brand new defense that looks to get after it on Friday night.
Defensively, we're moving on to a whole different style of scheme, so kind of been doing a lot of building with that and reshaping and redefining the culture as far as what we want to be as far as defensively. Here in Henrico, as long as I'm at the helm, I want us to be known for a physical defensive team.
Make no mistake, this season is all about the seniors and the Warriors returning to their winning ways.
Get a signature win. Get a signature win that puts us back on track. And for us, man, we're doing it for our seniors this year, the 24 class. We need to do it for them. These guys been in the program for 4 years now, and they don't even know what the playoffs look like, or they don't even know what a winning season looks like. So for us, making sure our seniors leave with the winning season, but also leave with the playoff, get into the playoffs, and at least get a playoff win.
The Warriors' first chance at a signature win is September 1st against Hermitage.
1, 2, 3, kill.
The Warriors will face their classic East End rivals Varina and Highland Springs both on the road. They play 3 straight road games beginning on September 21st to October 5th during that span. In the West End, new head coach Earl Kinney takes over at Mills Godwin. Kinney is no stranger to coaching with various stops throughout the years, most recently Hermitage. Kinney inherits a program that has made the playoffs in 4 of the past 5 years, and the Eagles also return their high-flying starting quarterback. A new era begins for Godwin football as head coach Earl Kinney comes over from Hermitage to take the reins.
Who's first over there, Stone? 7, move inside. Move inside when you get to the top.
I've been doing this so long, and I've had pretty high roles, and so I was head coach on JV for probably what ends up about 15 years. Other than it's a bigger group of people, it hadn't been that different.
And Coach Kinney will have plenty of familiar faces for the 2023 Godwin Eagles.
Well, they started a lot of underclassmen last year, so we have it's about 7 juniors who were sophomores who started, a couple of them both ways. So they have a lot of people back. There are experienced kids back, especially in the class of 2025.
One of those returning starters is the Eagles quarterback, Daniel Viner.
Well, it's a pretty good situation because he actually replaced the starter. The starter went down in midseason, and it's Danny Viner, and he had already thrown for over 1,000 yards in either 4 or 5 games. So it won't be that much of a shock to the system. Most of these kids are used to him being the quarterback. And Logan was there for the short period, but it was a very productive short period.
When the Eagles are on offense, they will want to spread you out, making Daniel Viner the perfect quarterback for the system. But the key to the game for Godwin, still running the football.
The strength right now, I think we can run the football. And what we need to improve on, ability to run the football. So if you can run the football and out of multiple formations and multiple looks, and the other team has to constantly be worried about that, you're controlling the game.
Meanwhile, the defensive philosophy is quite simple.
The general philosophy is you want to blitz when you want to, and you want to be good enough in your base to where you can stop most things, and now they have to guess when you're blitzing.
Coach Kinney believes the Eagles have a firm foundation. Now it's time to step it up a notch.
Well, most of my coaching career, I was at Patrick Henry and Hermitage. The rival in the West was Godwin. They had Coach Axel Stadium, and then Coach Kitchen had a lot of big years. And then, as you stated, they've been in the playoffs maybe 4 of the last 5 years. They kind of have a tradition. It went away a little, but it's mostly back, and now we just want to build on it. Coach Adams did a great job of reawakening, and hopefully we can take it from there.
The Eagles have enough talent on both sides of the ball to be very successful when their season kicks off August 25th against Goochland. The Eagles will compete in what should be a very competitive Class 5. Their schedule includes Goochland in Week 1, along with road stints at Patrick Henry and Atlee, not to mention their usual county rivals Deep Run, Freeman, and Hermitage, just to name a few. The Tucker Tigers begin 2023 on the prowl with a new head coach in Bryce Fritz. Similar to Kinney, Fritz has plenty of experience and is ready to install a new culture at the Palace on Parham. New head coach Bryce Fritz takes over at Tucker, a school that he calls a sleeping giant.
We have a lot of great athletes out here from other sports, from basketball, from track, and things like that. A lot of good, fast guys. We always know they've got here. We just got to make sure we're keeping them out here and playing football for us. It's always, like I said, it's a sleeping giant. I feel like if we were able to get the right culture in here, the right attitudes, that we can do lots of great things here at Tucker.
Starting quarterback Chase Roberts showed some nice things in a scrimmage against James River.
Chase is he's phenomenal. He's a guy that's very coachable. He'll do whatever you ask him to do. He leads. He sets the example at things, and he comes out here. He works really, really hard. There's not a guy out here, I think, that can match sometimes his juice a little bit. You know, like he's a guy that can get everybody going, and that's a good way. Somebody you need in a quarterback.
The Tigers are young in 2023, particularly up front, but Tucker will have some speed to burn.
Keenan Bell at defensive tackle is going to have to be really big for us. Guys on the edge, I think we have some really decent guys at defensive end for us. We can really rush the passer, get upfield. Kai Thompson and Calvin Birch. You know, we've got a lot of speed on offense. You know, it's going to be interesting to see. We got to get our playmakers the ball because we got guys that are running very fast. We got a lot of track guys out here that are on the 400 or the 100. You know, those guys that are qualifying for states and qualifying the 4x1s for states. So, you know, it's important to get those guys the ball in space.
Even more importantly to Coach Fritz is how the team handles adversity.
We've got to make sure, we've got to see how we're going to handle adversity. You understand? Every time we come out there, right, we don't know how it's like. So this is going to be a much better test. It's going to be a very big test for us this week. You understand? They're going to be bringing it. We got to see how we handle adversity. Okay? Because not everything's always going to be sunshine and rainbows for us.
Literally, it was clouds and lightning as the James River scrimmage was shortened due to weather.
Getting them to be able to buy into, hey, how do I handle adversity? Because if they get their heads down, you know, we have a very bad habit here from the past of as soon as something bad happens, it snowballs from there. So how do we get these guys to overcome that? That's going to be our key.
The Tigers showed some good signs against what should be a very good James River team. Could it be the start of better things to come?
Tucker's a special place, and you know, finding those guys that hadn't come out before they're coming in, or took a year off or whatever it was to come play football with us. That's what we're looking for.
The season starts August 25th at Caroline. The Tigers will look to start strong against Caroline and Meadowbrook. The schedule gets tougher when they face Godwin on the road in late September, along with Freeman, Glen Allen, and Hermitage to end the regular season. Well, while football is so close to kickoff, several other fall sports are already underway, including field hockey, where Freeman looked to take an opening day of school win against Mechanicsville, plus Hermitage tries to hold serve in ladies volleyball when they battle Henrico. Highlights are straight ahead.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
Welcome back to Sportswire. Field hockey season is here. It's Freeman versus Mechanicsville, Mavs versus Mustang. Right after the first day of school, this is the first field hockey game of the season. First quarter, Freeman really had control on the attacking side. That shot goes wide. Later in the first, Sarah Chilton sends it in. Kicked out by the keeper, almost knocked in, but no. Would be no score after one. We go to the second quarter, still 0-0, still scoreless, more Mavs. Another chance, keeper comes out to stop that one. And the Mustangs goalie doing a great job keeping this a scoreless battle. Still in the second though, more pressure by the Mavs. And the more you have it in the attacking side, the more opportunities you create. One of them eventually is going to go in. Would that be the case? Another stop by Mechanicsville, and that trickles wide. Although the opposite can also be true, as it's 0-0 at the half, third quarter. Sometimes a team that makes an opportunity gets it to go, but no, that one just goes wide, so no score. Chilton going through two defenders, going through a third. Sarah Chilton fires, and it just goes wide. Freeman's perhaps best shot on net of the entire contest. Still in the third. We got a breakaway inside position. Chunk that shot a little bit. It does not connect. No score to the fourth and final stanza. Mavs trying to break the ice. So many opportunities early. Sarah Chilton trying to be the lady of the hour to do it. She shoots. She scores! And the first goal of the season goes to the Mavs. And it goes to Sarah Chilton. And Freeman takes a 1-0 lead. Moments later in the fourth, talk about first day of school. Freshman, new high school, first game as a varsity field hockey player. Great moment here. Chilton looking, firing, can't get it. But the rebound, gonna be poked through, she shoots, she scores! Number 10, Nevaeh Wagler. What a day for the freshman! First day of school, first varsity field hockey game. Sarah Chilton's more excited about that than her own goal, and her first goal as a Freeman field hockey player, 2-0. We'd be remiss not to mention the work in net by Marley Anderson. She stopped all opportunities as Mechanicsville tried to rally late, but they would not. Freeman gets the 2-0 win, and the Mavs, plenty of jubilation and celebration. 2-0 your final. Plenty of accolades to go around.
I'm thinking this is the team, this is just the momentum our team needs. You know, we had a lot of opportunities, and this was just giving them the energy to keep on putting them in the net. Our freshman, Nevaeh, had a great goal, assisted by Riley. Did an amazing job.
The Mavie gets handed out to the player of the game every game, right? And then that person has to take a picture and it goes on Instagram. Well, my friends, we have a freshman. Who scored her first varsity goal! Now you're going to be on Instagram and on Sportswire.
And she is on Sportswire, and she is now famous, of course. Henrico Hermitage ladies volleyball season kicks off one day after that fantastic field hockey match. Henrico Hermitage, Henrico taking the early lead in the opening set. Watch the bouncing ball, kill attempt right there, no. Henrico does a nice job of corralling that one and then can't get to it. Point, green and gold, number 12 doing the honors, Casey Thomas. And then later, more Thomas on the serve, coming up aces for the Mavs. But she wasn't the only one with aces up her sleeve, so to say. Hermitage had their share as well, as you're about to find out. Nice point right there. And then number 14, Kendall Jackson. Kendall Action Jackson, related to one Kelly Jackson, who works in TV services with us. She gets the ace. You know who else came up aces? Number 5, Casey Stapleton. One after another after another. Double-digit aces in this one. They take the first set 25-15. Hermitage in the second set, trying to come out to a quicker start than they did in the first. They do right there. That is good for the point. Later, Henrico rallying. They get an ace of their own. And so the second set was close. Number 15 on the serve for Hermitage. Samantha Rollison. That's right, daughter of AD Chris Rollison. She knocks that one down for 2 consecutive aces. Panthers on the prowl. Back to the star of the match, Casey Stapleton. A staple of the Hermitage volleyball team, if you will. And she will. At one point, Stapleton, I believe, had 9 straight aces, double digits on the evening. Unofficially, I'm counting over 20. She was the straw that stirred the drink. I don't have any more sports puns, analogies to go through, all in the very first episode of Sportswire. I'll save some. But Stapleton was a force. So were the Hermitage Lady Panthers, just as a team. They have been in dominant fashion in the second set, and they're going to finish it off that way. That is good for the ace, 25-12, as Rollison finishes off the second set. First to 3 sets win. Action Jackson on the serve. Henrico gets there. Hermitage keeping it alive. More than that, it's going to go for the point. And Rollison and company in good position to finish this in a 3-0 sweep. Straight set victory. Stapleton on the serve. That is good. Number 12 once again. This time it's Lauren Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald had a good night. That's good for the point. All Hermitage in this one. They would get the straight set victory, taking the last one 25-7. Final 25-15, 25-12, 25-7. The Hermitage Lady Panthers take down Henrico. Both teams opening match regular season game, 3-0. It's back to football when we come back as 2 East End powerhouses get set to hit the gridiron. Highland Springs is going for their 2nd straight state championship, while Varina is coming off a 10-win season, looking for more in 2023. That's next.
Hey!
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
Welcome back to Sportswire. When it comes to football in Henrico, the Springers have set the gold standard. This season, Highland Springs will look to repeat as state champions with a returning Big Ten-bound dynamic quarterback and, of course, plenty of talent on both sides of the ball. As the 2023 football season is about to begin, you have to ask yourself, why is Highland Springs always so darn good?
I mean, building relationships with the guys, building relationships in the community, making sure people understand what's the task at hand. We're not going to ever be transactional in terms of getting kids and being involved with that. We're going to be transformational. And anytime you can transform a kid's life, That also transforms their families' lives, and it becomes something that people want to be a part of.
The Springer brand has become so big that it's bigger than the state of Virginia. This year they travel to Miami, Florida to take on Miramar.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things where even when you're playing in the state, you want to play the best teams that you possibly can. I think the number one thing is, man, you want to give kids an opportunity to see something different. We've done really well in the state of Virginia. I promised the kids maybe 10 years ago that if we continue to win, man, we'll be traveling and doing this thing, on the road to kind of, gauge ourselves and gauge what we are, and then we can kind of build from there.
They'll have no problem building their offense around returning starting quarterback Christian Martin, who just recently committed to the University of Maryland.
Christian Martin does a great job for us. He's going to be our leader. He's the guy that pulls the trigger in a lot of ways, and he makes us right a lot of the time. Right now, he's making some throws that are on a high level.
The defending state champions have plenty of talent on both sides of the ball.
On the defensive side of the ball, you're talking about a slew of seniors that have just kind of been around and waiting for their turn to play. So you got Kyle Logan, Ontario Hobson, you got David Jones, you got Jamon Lewis. We returned both of our kickers, which is very, very exciting. People don't talk about that as much. The guy that's been there for a long period of time and seems like he's been here forever is Jakari Henley. We can't forget about the magician.
And Coach Johnson wants his Springers to know that this year is a brand new team.
We can't live on what they did last year. We can't live on what previous teams have done. We got to go out and we got to build it for ourselves. This team is 0-0. The greatest strength is that we have great leadership. We have great senior leadership, guys that want to win, guys that want to be successful, guys that have been around here and seen it done right and done wrong, and they want to be a part of the guys that do it right.
This year, the Springers move up to Class 6, but they could still win another state championship if
continue to build on the chemistry that we already have. We could be successful in the end. It always takes a group of seniors to buy into it and be great leaders. And that's what we've had every time we won a state championship.
The season starts August 25th at Miramar High School in Miami, Florida. Highland Springs, besides a game at Miramar, will play Maury in a rematch of last year's state championship at Old Dominion. They load the schedule with Norcom, Riverbend, and Potomac later in the season, and Week 2 has Highland Springs at home versus Manchester. Meanwhile, most teams would be happy with a 10-win season. That is, unless you're the Varina Blue Devils, where the Blue Devils were state champions just the year before. This year, Varina may be young in spots, but returned plenty of experienced talent to make another run for ultimate glory. Varina Blue Devil football is back as head coach Marcus Lewis and company look to climb back to the top of the mountain after a 10-2 season 1 year ago.
It's the little things that count. Being solid on special teams, not jumping off sides. We gave a penalty late against King George right before the second half, and they ended up scoring when we could have held them up to a field goal. That changed the whole game. My kids kept fighting, but it's a game about inches. Everything counts. We got to be disciplined. We got to, play with grit, play for 4 quarters, and our kids understand that. I don't think we quite did that last year. Even though we were 10-2, them 2 losses still hurt.
The bad news for the Blue Devils is that they only have 7 returning starters. The good news is that the replacements have played plenty of meaningful snaps, including starting quarterback Linwood Johnson.
Linwood Johnson played quarterback throughout his whole, just growing up. Pose guy, all A, great leader. He's gonna be on time. He never get down on himself. It's the type of QB that you want. More of a passer than a runner. Miles could do both, even though he chose to pass a little bit more than run. But he definitely could throw the ball.
As usual, Varina is chock full of talent.
Eric Smith is back. He came to us right before the season started. So I think the chemistry's there. He know what it is to be a Blue Devil. Elijah Brown ended up starting safety last year for us. He know what it takes. Malachi Moore. We got an electrifying running back, Nasir Smith, that's back. He's one of those guys that can take it the distance anytime. So, we definitely want to get the running game going.
Coach Lewis will also be counting on some new starters on both sides of the line.
One thing we have to work on is just making sure our line is ready on both sides of the football, not just offense, just making sure they're ready. Like I said, we got a lot of young guys, but a lot of guys that actually played a lot and contribute from last year. So at least looking forward to them and just depth. Stay healthy. You can win some football games.
Coach Lewis will be working double duty this season, not just as head coach, but also defensive coordinator.
I mean, they know you got to be able to stop people. Got to be able to cause turnovers. So, they see a whole different Coach Lewis this year with me being back the D coordinator.
Coach Lewis hopes that an aggressive schedule, pays big-time dividends.
I wanted to start off playing against some tough teams, get us ready for the playoffs early, see if we get battle tested.
Varina can return to state championship glory if
we stay focused, play as a team, be disciplined, and play with grit.
The season starts August 25th at Indian River.
Bet on me. 1, 2, 3, get paid. Hey.
Varina will be tested especially late when they face Highland Springs and Patrick Henry back-to-back to end the regular season. And for other football previews here in Henrico, check them out on X, formerly known as Twitter. Freeman has a huge football program with over 100 athletes with plenty of depth, especially at the skill position as the Mavs look to return to the playoffs. Hermitage has the youngest team of head coach Timothy Jean-Pierre's tenure, but in his words, also the most talented. Glen Allen graduated plenty of seniors from last year's squad, but has oodles of coachable talent to get the Jags jumping. And Joe Mullenix enters his third year at Deep Run, going for his first win on the field. With more players in the program, as well as returning starting quarterback Trey Gouch, the Wildcats may not have to wait too long. Well, remember, if you have questions or comments about the show, just send me an email to this address, sportswire@henrico.k12.va.us. And be sure to follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, and watch us on YouTube. I can't wait to see you next time on Sportswire.